Former SAFA CEO Robin Petersen, who established and ran the SAFA Development Agency during his tenure, has taken that passion for development further over the years by co-initiating the Safe Hub campaign. And the Safe Hub creates a fertile ground for innovative collaboration and creating safe spaces, particularly for at-risk youth. And Robin joins me now in studio. Dr. Petersen, good morning. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
Appreciate it. So congratulations are in order. Best recreation body at the South African Sports Awards recently. So that's a wonderful feather in your cap. It's an incredible achievement. But I want to talk about why you are so invested in the future of young people, and not just young people in general, but particularly those who are the most at risk.
So I'll go back to the time when I set up the SAFA Development Agency in 2013. And the reason I did that back then and motivated to the board, the SAFA board back then, was I had been, in the 2 years of being SAFA CEO, really focusing on the question of development, because without development, our future is not going to be successful. And development is not sexy. It's not the kind of thing that sponsors put their money into. It's like building one of these high-rise buildings you have in your background here, where you go down first and it's messy and you usually close off that site so no one can see it. And it's only when that beautiful building emerges that sponsors say, I'd like to put my name on that. But when you're digging down into that, so it's much, much harder to raise and generate funding for development. And that's where I started realizing that, what we're doing through football development has a much wider impact on youth development as a whole. And I got challenged by a whole realm of agencies who use sport for development. And they said, come and see what we're doing. And I spent 2 weeks going around the country, and I ended up with the Safe Hub program in Khayelitsha. At that stage, there were 2 Safe Hubs and a third one was about to be constructed. And I was completely blown away by what I saw. It was by far and away the most innovative, the most well-researched, the most productive in the sense of the number of participants. I mean, the small site they had in Khayelitsha, 2,500 young people registered there, come in there twice a week, into sustained programs of youth development from early childhood all the way through to entry into work. And I thought, this is what we have to do. And partnered with them through SAFA Development Agency, and we took this program nationally and now globally.
And you'll talk to us in a moment about where else some of the newer hubs have been set up. I know that there's one in Diepsloot as well. I want to talk about the look and feel of it and what young people experience when they go in there. We know that it's an after-school program, but when you think about how well it's been able to keep people or young people on the program, developing leadership skills, providing an opportunity for mentorship and so on, it's not just an after-school program.
No. So again, I'll tell a backstory because that'll make sense of how we got to where we are. The founder of Safe Hub, Florian Zech, came here as a 19-year-old from Germany to do a year of volunteer work. And he had no knowledge of South Africa before. He landed at Cape Town Airport, and he tells a story. Instead of turning right out of the airport onto the highway to go downtown, they turned left, took him to Khayelitsha, to an orphanage, and he lived in Khayelitsha for that year. This was 2007. And in that period, at the end of that year, as the year was coming to an end, he realized, he can go back to Germany. He has a world of opportunity open for him. But his colleagues, his friends, these people that he had spent a year living with, were trapped in this intergenerational cycle of poverty, unemployment, inequality. And together they started thinking about what can we do to create opportunity for young people. And their first sort of big thought was, football is a magnet. That's what gets young people together. Boys and girls, by the way. We have 40% girls participating in our programs. And secondly, playing sport in an organized way like that mirrors the kind of psychosocial structures of a youth gang. So yes, you can join a youth gang and you're going to go spiraling down, or you can join a club or a team, participate in regular activities, and it creates that same sense of belonging, of community, of peer leadership, and so on. So that's where the program started. But what they realized very, very soon, and a program, by the way, based on a full-size artificial turf pitch with floodlights.
Yeah, it looks wonderful. I mean, I've been looking at video of the facilities themselves, and they really are state-of-the-art.
State-of-the-art. That was the other thing. We must build state-of-the-art facilities. I mean, our sites that we're building now, our site in Jabulani, our site in Alex, 35 million rand facilities. They're magnificent facilities because it's not just the pitch. We have a massive youth center where we have a ICT, DigiLab. We have a youth cafe for young people to get ready for work, helping them prepare their CVs, training them on entrepreneurship. We have a range of programming from early childhood development. So from 3-year-olds, we have over 500 at each site. From all the ECD centers around, come and use our facility. We interact with the kids. We help train the teachers, all the way through to young adults.
And that speaks to this collaboration model that you are pursuing in doing things in partnership with the local community. Robin, when I read more and I saw more of the work that Safe Hub was doing, the thing that was different was a lot of programs that you see are kind of short-termist. They may not last. The worst thing you can ever do, especially with young people, is plant a seed of hope, is kind of shake their energy up a little bit, and then that road ends or that journey ends. The program never lasts. It never bears the fruit that it was intended to bear. And the difference here is there is that sustainable trajectory that's built. And I'd love for you to share with our viewers on how the work continues beyond Safe Hub into the material changes in the lives of young people.
What you said, Iman, is such a powerful insight, because what we realized is that all short-term interventions will never, ever change the trajectory of a young person's life. So we said we need programming at scale and at dosage. So what we mean by that, we looked and we keep adding new programs when we find a gap. So we have psychosocial support, we have health support, we have educational support, we have skills support. We have, anything that a young person who comes into our centers, and it's free, they come in, they access the facilities, anything that they need which will enable them to progress from breaking that intergenerational cycle is what we then crowd in. Not just us, we're kind of a platform, because we have a lot of other organizations that now use our facilities as our partners. So we have health organizations, we have DigiLab organizations. So we kind of become a platform. We have a great collaboration partnership with the Development Bank, with the DBSA, on 8 of our sites now. And they've been a fantastic partner in providing us with new capital expenditure as well as program funding. And they challenged us. They said, how do we make these programs self-sustaining after a 5-year period? That's the biggest challenge we have. We now employ over 330 people across the country. We have 250,000 young people in our programs across the country. And as you said, we can't let that drop. We have to keep that sustained. What we're doing now is we're partnered with some commercial enterprises. We co-host and run call centers in townships that employ...
this is incredible, and I'm sorry to interject you there, because as you're talking, this thought is mushrooming in my mind that you have one idea for something that takes on an entirely different life over the course. And I think the most important thing that you're saying is how there is that kind of reach into and that rooting inside the community to providing, you can't just, give someone a ball, kick it around, and that's the end of the story. You have to provide all of these other psychosocial support systems so that they can really realize the promise and the gift of being in a space like that. I'm thinking about my community in Phoenix, which is where I come from, similar to a number of communities where drugs and, all sorts of other social ills take root, and young people's ways, get, the trajectory of their lives gets altered. How do other communities buy into this? I know you have a social franchise model that Safe Hub works with.
The challenge we have with the scaling of this program is that it's not a cheap program to scale.
Yeah.
So we build these facilities. We started when I met them, when I met Florian and the team, and there's a big team of people around Florian. He's not the only person who's driven this, but it's a fantastic team of people. But they had 2 centers then, one in Khayelitsha, one in Gugulethu, and they were about to build one in Diepsloot. We now, by the end of next year, we have 7 currently under construction. We have 9 fully operational. So we will have 15 centres by the end of next year or middle of next year, including one near Phoenix, in fact, in KwaMashu. What I think is even more phenomenal is here's this little project that started in Khayelitsha. It's now a global project. We have
because you have Berlin as well.
We have centres in Berlin, Philadelphia, Cote d'Ivoire, and New Delhi is next on the list. And that's now, we've set up a global office that runs it and raises money separately, but they're using the program that's been developed here, and hardly any changes. In fact, the research and the development by practice, the praxis of this program has been so well done that it's shown to have legs globally, which is really exciting.
Tell us about it, and I wish, you know, that we had, and we know, especially with a slot like mine, things move, so we couldn't over-plan, but I would have loved to have had some of the beneficiaries of the program join us to tell us in their own words how their lives have been impacted and changed. Some of those testimonials are available on the Safe Hub website, and you can actually go and have a look and see the work that they're doing and what some of these centres look like. They really are incredible. It is about the story of each individual that forms this connective tissue around the story of a community and then the story of a nation and so on. So what have you been hearing from people whose lives may have gone in one direction but have now been completely transformed?
So there are so many stories one hears. I mean, I love the story of our national operations manager who now lives and works in Johannesburg and really involves herself across all the Safe Hubs. She started out as a participant in Khayelitsha, then became a playmaker, which is what every year we take on between 13 and 20 young people at every site. They go into a one-year learnership program and they become our coaches. So they're getting a qualification, but they're also running the program with the young people on the pitch and in the health sector and so on. And she moved up through that progression, and now she's one of our key senior management staff, and is just doing a fantastic job.
And so that intergenerational story stops and changes with her.
Changes with her, and you know, obviously all of her family and circle are now benefit massively from what's happened in her life.
So I saw a news article about, it might have been the city of Johannesburg, talking about a Safe Hub Jabulani. Is that the same?
Same one, that's our Safe Hub.
It's the same thing.
So we've been very fortunate to be able to unlock funding. You know, people get very cynical about the country, about government. You can never get anything done. Well, we've done it, and it's been an amazing thing. We've had support through a program that sits in National Treasury called the Neighbourhood Development Partnership Fund. They can't fund us because they can only fund municipalities. But they fund local municipalities to build these facilities on condition that they contract us to run them, because they say we don't want to build sports facilities that will just get vandalized, wrecked. Because without programming and without, our centres run 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. So without that kind of hub of activity where a community owns the place, where there's 3,000, Jabulani, 5,000 young people enrolled in our programs there, using the facility, you know, as I said, 12 hours a day. The Football Association, local teams use it on the weekend. So the centres really buzz. And because of that, we don't have vandalism. We haven't, touched wood, wherever the best one is here.
Yeah. Because is there a sense of ownership by the young people?
Tremendous sense of ownership.
And the community?
Tremendous. When those riots happened in 2021, Jabulani Mall was affected. We're a block or so from Jabulani Mall. The community came out and surrounded, supported, and said, no, this place, even though it was built by the city. Yeah. So Treasury funded the city of Joburg through the JDA. The JDA built this incredible facility. We operated as a Safe Hub. Then the Development Bank joined us and it became what they call a D-Lab, a developmental lab. The city then said, this was so great, we'll also build your site in Alex. So they, on their own budgets, built our Safe Hub in Alex. So we have these tremendous relationships at sort of national, provincial, local level, and also the private sector. We've had incredible support from companies who give us from their enterprise development funding, their skills development, their socioeconomic development funding. You know, Total Sports has been with us for over 8 years now. And
nice.
you know, that kind of commitment is just wonderful to have.
So a selfish question then. Football is your love, as we know. It can't be everything to all people, and it has a very focused mandate. But are you identifying any talent through the Safe Hubs as well?
So the Safe Hubs, as they are at the moment, we don't focus on football development.
Yeah.
It's on youth development.
Yeah. And
However,
leadership and things like that.
all of that. However, there's no doubt that having facilities like that, talents identified, we don't systematically develop it. We refer those good players to the local clubs, the local teams, and they will carry on with that development process. It's still my dream that one day we will start a program separately, that we get funded separately, and work with the Football Association to have local talent centres at all our Safe Hubs where we focus on talent development.
So I saw Bundesliga, Safe Hub. What's just remind us of the connection there?
So Safe Hub, Florian is German, and
Yes.
so although he's lived here since the age of 19 and he's married a local woman, but we have offices and relationships in Germany where some of our initial funding, Oliver Kahn Foundation, funded our second Safe Hub so through that we've developed relationships with brands like Adidas in Germany and the Bundesliga. So the Bundesliga have given us support in various ways, and we've just right now co-hosting a tournament with them for a five-a-side tournament at our Safe Hubs.
Very nice. I think this is a lovely way to, well, we're not quite ending our weekend on the program, but Robin, thank you very much for giving us your time and for sharing with us the dreams, the ideals, and the accomplishments of Safe Hub.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Robin Petersen.